Well, Nabila Ramdani is a journalist and Middle East commentator. She joins us now to discuss that summit. Just on the issue of NATO and the promise that operations would continue, how long do you think that might continue, given that Gaddafi is promising a long insurgency?
Well, absolutely. I think this conference was taking place, but of course the war is still rumbling on, and that's one of the major issues that the NTC is facing, to indeed rebuild the country while there's still a conflict going on. And NATO will be facing major challenges ahead, least of all because of the NTC's ability in the future to reconcile the conflicting interests in the country. And it might be that perhaps NATO will need to send boots on the ground to keep all these conflicting and rival factions in order.
You talked about the rivalry there. The leader of the NTC was talked about the need for forgiveness at the conference. How likely is it that they can have that and achieve sort of political progress as quickly as they hope?
Well, there seems not to be much coordination between the leadership of the NTC and the rebel forces fighting on the ground, and it's very obvious that the NTC is unable at the moment to give orders to rebel forces on the ground and hold back that desire for revenge and hatred against a man who ruled the country in a very despotic manner for 42 years, and whose forces, who are limited but are still potent, are still determined to fight for.
Just briefly on that, I mean, Gaddafi has said called on the tribes to kind of back him still. How much support does he have with those tribes?
Well, it very much smacks of desperation. It's a massive reverse for Gaddafi, obviously, especially on the day of the 42nd anniversary of his coup back in 1969. It's unclear how many people are still backing up that nasty regime, but what is for sure is that there are still people there fighting, and he's definitely appealing to those people.
And just to go back to the conference, I mean, it wasn't kind of mentioned openly, but presumably a lot of these countries who have been at the forefront of the operations to help with the uprising in Libya are going to benefit quite a lot in terms of contracts in the future. And we've suddenly got last-minute sort of arrivals at the party, people saying that actually now we do back the NTC when they didn't before, like Russia and China.
Very much so. I think business interests were very much at the core of this conference as well. The NTC made it clear that they wanted to reward the countries who played a lead role in backing up the rebellion. Energy, construction and telecom firms are eager now to benefit from the reconstruction of Libya. And of course the two countries which led the way in the military, calling for military action, France and Britain, will be in a very good position to benefit from lucrative deals. And it's no coincidence that it's very much these two countries who were hosting the conference.
Well, interesting. What did you make of the Emir of Qatar saying that perhaps the Arab League didn't do enough in all this? I mean, he's saying that this couldn't have been achieved without NATO, and actually it should have been achieved without NATO in some respects.
That was a very interesting statement, and in fact an admission that of the clear attempt by NATO, the NATO countries, to give the impression that it was not only a Western-led coalition, but it involved Arab countries. But it's also very clear that the Arab contribution to this conflict was very much tokenistic, and that's what the Emir of Qatar highlighted this evening.
OK, Nabila Ramdani, thank you very much indeed for your analysis. Good to talk to you.